Hello, and welcome to our Agent to Agent series with Deb and Lou. Today we begin a three-part mini-series on agent attraction with a very special guest. Lou, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, Deb, I think the best way to start this series off with is to talk to the person that attracted us to eXp. So let's bring Gene Frederick into the conversation.
Awesome. Sounds good? Stay tuned. Here we go. All right, here we are in our Zoom meeting with our special guest.
Hello, Gino. I want to introduce you today. This series Deb wanted to do on attraction. We thought the best way to get going on this is to deal with the top of the best attractors and the person that brought us to eXp and all the great things that you've shared with me. And we thought we'd just have an open discussion and just talk about some of the things you've taught me and shared with me at the beginning and actually all along. It keeps changing. So I want to introduce Gene Frederick. He's on the board of directors for eXp. He's the reason Deb and I joined eXp. He's our dear, dear friend, along with his wife, Susan, who we've known for probably 18 years now in the real estate business. And we're just excited to be in business with you again, Gene. And thanks for being on this Zoom meeting with us to talk about this. So why don't you share with everybody just a little bit about your story and then this whole attraction thing, because it means a lot to a lot of different people, I think. And like Deb's trying to do is narrow it down into three different segments so people can really understand it.
Well, I think, Lou, and you and I have been friends for a long time, and we were regional directors at another company and team leaders and managers. And if you've been in the business as long as Lou has, not me, but Lou, no. I've been in the business 35 years. And I think what happened to me 5.5 years ago is I felt like I just found something that I knew was going to be the future of real estate. At that time, the company had about 400 agents. And I owned 6 different franchises. I owned 6 offices in a region. And it was really funny. I called Lou first. I mean, Lou's one of my best buddies. And I said, Lou, I got to tell you, I think I found Netflix. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, if you knew Netflix, Netflix existed, would you own a Blockbuster? And he says, no. And I said, guess what? I just found it. And what I mean by that is this. The industry has never had a big change. Our real estate industry has always been broker owned, broker driven, owners, right, Lou? And I was one of them. I owned 6 offices. And then I found a company started by Glenn Sanford and when I talked to Glenn, he and I hit it off right, because I said, Glenn, what's the most important thing to you? And he goes, the agents. I mean, literally, he said, the agents. I said, that's me too. We don't do anything without agents. He goes, well, why don't we make the agents our partner? That's a difference, Lou. Rather than the owner always telling the agent what to do, here's your commission split and everything. Why don't we make them our partner and we'll go together? I said, Glenn, you have me. How do you do that? And he goes, well, we've got stock. We've got a corporation. Now, here's what's funny, guys. 5.5 years ago, I always tell people, the company, the stock was real. It was a pink sheet. It was like Wolf on Wall Street, and it was 18 cents a share 5.5 years ago when I met Glenn. Guess what happened? I researched it. 5 months later, I come back. I said, Glenn, this is real. Common shares. You mean you're going to give common shares in a corporation? He goes, yes. Boom. I said, you've changed the industry forever. Because agents don't have equity, Lou. Agents they really aren't the partner in their whoever they're with, right?
Yeah.
Guess what? By the time I made the decision to join, it was 30 cents a share. I thought I blew it. It went 18 cents to 30. Woo! And now, of course, in May of 2018, we got uplisted to the NASDAQ. So we're so bona fide right now. And of course, you can check out our stock, eXpI. We own 2 things, eXp Realty and Verbella. And with that pandemic that's just happened as we're filming this, we had no idea this doggone pandemic was going to happen, right, guys? It has made driving into your real estate office, right? Well, guess what? The real estate office is closed. We can't go in. So now they're going, how do we work? Lou, we've been working like this for 10 years in a virtual environment. When I say virtual, I mean we actually go in as avatars and work. But anyway, I'm excited to talk to you guys today because, Lou, I told you 5 years ago, and that I wasn't going to do it without you and Deb. And I said, if we're going to start something, if we're going to start a Netflix, let's go do it. Let's go do it together. Let's go help agents. Let's go help agents be our partner, and let's go do it together.
So I love the best thing you told me. You said, because agent attraction was the thing I was into. I didn't really understand the stock.
Yep.
You know, everything else about the technology was cool. But, you know, I was looking, where's this going to really work with building this company and sharing and rev share? And I remember distinctly, you told me to go play team leader.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the best advice you could have given me for two reasons. One, I understood what you meant. And two, it gave me a focus to work the business. Because as you know, Debbie runs the real estate side of this. She does her buying and selling, plays icon, and does a great job at it. And for me, this was going to have to grow this, but it's tricky. And now for you and I, it's easy because we've done this. We worked together on this, but what can you share to help agents that are maybe reluctant about this, that don't want to bug another agent? I know you talk to people every day and get great insight on this.
Well, you know, it's the first time in our industry that agents are allowed to go attract other agents. Really, when you think about it, you could attract somebody. When I was at RE/MAX in the 80s, I attracted people to RE/MAX. I didn't get anything. I mean, I might have got a gift card. I might have got a Starbucks card or something. But I mean, I didn't really get the money off the top that usually goes to the regional owners. You know, that little thing called royalty usually goes to the regional owners off the top. This was the first time when I saw it. Glenn said, we're going to take some part of that money and give it to the agents that help us grow. Well, Lou, that's what you and I did. That's why we related so well. I said, Lou, we just got to do what we did as team leaders, help agents come to our company and help them get very productive. First of all, we make them productive. That's the biggest misnomer. We get them into production.
Yep.
We're over 90% this year. Year to year, we're up 90% in closed volume and 70% in closed units.
Wow.
It's crazy. But for an agent, all I want you to think of is this. I think this is a good way to look at it. All your life, I don't know about Deb does more than this, but as an agent, most of the time I said, why don't you try to sell 2 buyers a month, get 2 listings. And they go, yeah, that's what I do. I get 2 listings and 2 buyers. I said, why don't we just add one thing to that? Why don't you attract 2 agents? It's just a goal.
And you know what, Gene? I saw something today on Workplace that came from you. It was a quote from you as the icebreaker and that conversation starter with an agent. Maybe you're co-oping with whatever, but it's, please tell me about yourself.
Right.
Right?
Well, the first thing you do is it's all about them. Here's what I will tell agents. When you take a listing, what do? It's all about the seller. Right? What do you do with a buyer? It's all about the buyer.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden I tell people, I want you to go get in relationship with 2 agents. And they go, what do I say? And I said, well, tell me about yourself. How's the business? How's your life? And they go, and I go, now this is going to be really hard for you. You've got to be quiet. You do it with sellers, you do it with buyers, and now all of a sudden you're talking to your buddies over at another company and you go, oh, I got to tell you about eXp. And you start talking and I go, no, tell me about yourself and be quiet and listen. The people that, by the way, everybody in life, and Deb, you know this, on listings, you win the game if you ask good questions. You find out why they want to move, right? And I try to relate it to listings because most people go, you know, or even with a buyer, why do you want to live in Brighton? Why do you want to live in this neighborhood? Why? You know, and you get to the root. Well, my kid needs special needs. I need a school that has, you know, whatever it is, or I want to live near the synagogues or the church. When I sold real estate, there was always the reason they were moving to that town. And then we get over on attraction, Lou, and all of a sudden we want to just spew.
Yeah, puke on them.
I call it spew and eXp. And I talk to agents and they go, oh, no, I don't do that. And then I go on I listen to them and they go, well, let me tell you. And I go, no, tell me about yourself. Be quiet. and listen.
Listen.
It's the number one thing you got to do. It's hard for real estate agents sometimes. They do it when they're working with sellers and buyers. And then all of a sudden we're on the attraction side and they go, what do I do? And I said, what'd you do with buyers and sellers?
Mm-hmm.
It's no different, guys. But here's the cool thing. Here's the best part. It is different because those two agents can turn into two more agents, could turn into two more agents. And we've got a 7-level system. And when I tell you this, it's brilliant. If you know compounding, if you know anything about duplication, I've only attracted 100 people to eXp, and those 100 people have turned into thousands.
Mm-hmm.
Because 100 on the first level and then it goes down. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, it's definitely different now than it was when we first talked. As you know, I had to wait a couple of years before I could join, and it was still a small company. There was half dozen agents in Michigan when Debbie joined, and now we're at over 1,000. I can tell you from my conversations and all the times I've gotten to see you talk to agents and do events for us when you fly in the winter ice storms, because you like Michigan in the winter. You're the only crazy person I know that doesn't like the warm weather. And the conversation, I think, that is a little bit different now because people know who eXp is. Mm-hmm. So I can see what you're saying, that I made that mistake. I talk too much. I get all excited about it. But that pause, what you said, and listen is so very important. And I think I always remember because we've been through so much together, buddy. There was always that whole thing with Mahatma Gandhi that they said first they ignore you. I experienced that. You did. People thought you were crazy, that you left and sold everything you had, as successful as you were. And did what you did. They thought you were crazy. And then all of a sudden, now we've got the, first it was they forget you or pretend they don't know you. And then all of a sudden they make fun of you. We've gone through that together so far. And now I think out of the 4 stages, we're at the fight stage. Because they're competing. They're saying, hey, you don't want this or that. And I think for agents, they need to understand something. They need to know, first of all, our group, they can contact me and we talk to them. Sometimes these three-party calls, you do so many Zooms and calls with people. I've lost track. So many people that you've helped in the company. But I do think that agents need to understand that we're doing this together, and there's a reason we do it together. You alluded to it earlier with the 7 levels. Again, back to the analogy, you said go play team leader. Without any boundaries, there's no geographic boundaries. So we got people all over the place, and we definitely spend a lot of time attracting on there. And a lot of times, Gene, I tell people just make the introduction. Remember the old days? Team leader walk down the hall. Hey, anybody you're talking to, you do a deal with them. Let me talk to them. Say, hey, so and so says you're a great agent, and I need to know you. And then I can step in and just say, hey, tell me about yourself. Tell me what you like, what do you like about your broker and all that stuff. So, but don't you feel that right now we're kind of at that, the numbers, our shareholder meeting was unbelievable last week. You guys put together such a great event with the staff and so many cool things that happened. But so we're growing, we're doing good. They're taking us serious now. Now we're a competitor. When you're a competitor and they respect you, which I think they do, they're being a more aggressive back at us and pushing back. So we got to be better on our game, and our agents have to be better on their game on their messaging. Don't you think?
Well, I think the number one reason, and by the way, when I was talking about, I related to real estate, it is different. I want you to know that you guys have us to work with you. Mm-hmm. Just imagine if you went on a listing, but you had us to go with you if you needed us. Because a lot of agents go, oh, I got to do everything myself. I've got to do all the attraction myself. No. That's why I'm on Zooms. I was on 10 Zooms the other day because I'm here to help explain it. We're talking to brokers all the time, top agents. Brokers are calling us like crazy right now, Lou. Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way, while we're taping this, I got to tell you, just yesterday morning, our founder, Glenn Sanford, was on Fox Business.
With Stu Varney.
Yep. And Stu asked him, and Stu goes, what is this deal? And Glenn goes, we've been using it for 10.5 years. We've got 29,000 agents. And he didn't say agents, he said employees, right? He just said 29,000 of us are using this platform. Oh my gosh, Lou, that blew me away. I mean, here we are. We've made it.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I've been at other companies. I never saw my CEO on Fox Business saying we've got a different platform to work from. See, that's what I knew. That's what I saw 5 years ago. This is a different platform. I tell people we're not thinking outside the box as far as a real estate brokerage. We are a whole new box.
Yep.
Just so you know, everybody else is at Blockbuster. We're at Netflix using streaming video. And really, our streaming video is called Verbella. And I want you guys to check it out. If you see this thing, oh my gosh, we are rocking right now. You guys have no idea how crazy our company is going to be. And all our real estate agents that have stock in a company that has Verbella and a real estate company. Oh.
Yes.
So I'm excited. You know, agents just need to get after it. And then I'll teach them what I want them to do. I want you to know we're going to put your arms around you. Don't feel like you're alone. We can help you. We can help you. What do I say here? Just call me. I'll tell you. I have meetings every single week where we go over scripts and dialogues and help agents because they've just never attracted agents before. That's all.
So what do you tell the agents now? I've heard this also. They say, oh, 29,000 agents. I missed it. How dumb am I? The stock's at $9 a share. It used to be 18 cents. You know, there used to be five. Deb and I, our number is 877. We joined at 877 and we're kind of excited about that. And I remember then thinking, oh, man, I should have been here 2 years ago. And you hear that and you would say,
well, I would say, well, number one, we're going to 1 million realtors.
Mm-hmm. No, come on. That's what people would be blown away by that, Gene.
Let me tell you why. I just got off the phone before I got with you, Lewis, with our international director. And he says, it is going to be simple for us to get there. He says, I said, why? And he says, do you understand the other brands have 2 to 3 times the agents outside the United States?
Wow.
Every single brand does. Wow. And I didn't realize that when I was talking to him. And I said, so if we get 100,000 agents in the US, he says, oh my gosh, he says, we'll have 900,000 somewhere else.
Wow.
And I went, I like you, Michael Valdez. I mean, by the way, I mean, you know, when I say that 29,000 to 1 million, we're going there. How long it's going to take, I don't know. The other thing I say when they say, well, your stock's $8 a share, $9 a share. Oh, you're going to funny. Lou, I looked it up 6.5 years ago. Netflix was $8 a share. 6.5 years ago. Look it up when you see this podcast. It's $455 a share.
Wow.
So who was telling Netflix, oh, your stock's only $8 a share?
Yeah. Yeah.
All I'm doing is, I don't know where we're going, but I got news for you. We have streaming video. It's called Verbella. It's not called streaming video. It's called Verbella. And we're the only real estate company using it.
Mm-hmm. That's exciting too. Really is. So just to kind of bundle this up real quick, and, you know, part of the other thing with the attraction is, you know, they don't have to, it's like anything else, you know, where do you start somebody? Did you tell them a minimum number? Hey, look, this is where you want to be at, and just to get started and feel good about it, feel some money coming in. Is there a minimum number that you share? I mean,
I usually really good agents, you know, they'll do 10, 20, 30 transactions a year, right? Yeah. A really good agent. And I said, look at you, that's 10, 20, 30 chances at another agent, at another company. And I said, do you think we couldn't get maybe 3 a year? Mm-hmm. And in 2 years, we could have 6. And I think everybody says, oh, I could do that. And I said, well, I'll help you. Mm-hmm. My minimum goal is usually about 3 a year. Yep. And then if they get 3 a year, there'll be 6 after 2 years. Those 6, if they get 1 apiece, that'll be 6 on their second level. Just with that, Lou, just with that, it's very conservative. If they're all cappers, that's $36,000 a year or $3,000 a month.
Wow.
So it's so simple, and agents go, yeah. You're kidding. And I said, now that's residual, Lou. Let me tell you, with this pandemic, let's face it, there's some people freaking out. In fact, there's some states that were non-essential. What does that mean? What in the heck could real estate? a roof over your head ever be non-essential? You've
Yes.
got to be kidding me.
Right.
True.
That just made no sense to me. Well, when you think about it, some people couldn't sell real estate for 2 months.
Yeah.
You know what happened? A lot of
Michigan was there. We couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look at your rev share. Your rev share that you've accumulated and built is a stream of income coming in, whether you sell homes or not.
And last month, it was the highest we ever had for the month of April. And the other company where I got what they call their profit share, I got $13 or something. It was minimal because they decided to quit putting it out. So, I mean, this is so sustainable and so put together well and thought out that even in a really unpredictable time like a pandemic, eXp is just doing great. The company's doing good. We got money in the bank and we're growing, and that's exciting. You made me think of one quick story. Maybe we can end this on. Talk about you and Nicole. When Nicole decided to jump in, she's got a great story, and maybe you want to share that with everybody.
Well, that's a good one because, when it's personal, it's my daughter, Nicole. And at the time I did this 5 years ago, she had her real estate license. She was a part-time realtor, a full-time mom, and single, and had a really good paying job, right? Just like anybody, working real estate just part-time.
Mm-hmm.
She looked at this, and I showed her, and she literally said, Gene, I quit and I come work with you. So it's been 5 years. I'm going to fast forward. By the way, she's had another child, and thank heaven she found her beautiful husband, Brian. Now she's married. She's got 2 beautiful kids. But it's been 5 years, and about 3 of those 5 years, she was involved in getting married, pregnant, having the child. So she's worked with me for about 2.5 years, I'd say, of the 5 years. And she's making between $15,000 and $20,000 a month. She's never been a recruiter before or an attractor. Nope. She's never really sold real estate at a high level. That's a big myth. Mm-hmm. You just have to ask people. And she's accumulated this, and she goes, oh my gosh. And her husband, Brian, who used to work for a big corporation, got to quit his job and get into real estate, which is what he wanted to do. I mean, it's just freeing. The options you have when you start making $15,000 to $20,000 a month on a regular basis. Yeah. Let that sink in for everybody, because most realtors can't say that. They make a lot of money, and then they don't make any money, and they make a lot of money, and it's a roller coaster, right? It's a hamster wheel. But when you get that base in, and by the way, she's selling real estate. Her husband's selling real estate. It's a big myth. She's enjoying the business.
So I'll leave it with this. We could talk for an hour. You got so many great stories and things I've heard and remember while we talk. What are the 2 things real estate agents do really well?
They do extremely well. They spend all their money and don't pay their taxes. We're experts at that. And I'm on a mission. I'm seriously, Lou, you know this. You know me. I know you guys. We're on a mission to help real estate agents. That's my big why. Everybody says, well, why'd you do everything? I said, I didn't do it for me. I didn't do it really for Nicole even. I did it for agents to get out of the rat race and have a constant level of income that they can rely on. Yeah. We've got it. Right.
And it works.
Yeah.
It works. It's funny. I tell everybody, I told somebody yesterday, I was in a meeting that you're aware of and we're in part of. And I said, you guys got to understand, the hardest person for me to attract was the other person in this Zoom meeting, because she's been through real estate with me. Yep. And I said, for Debbie to get involved and do what she's done and check it out. I mean, let's face it, Gene, you guys are very close friends of ours, and you and Susan have such an impact in our personal lives and business. This kind of is all part of it, but that was not an easy sell. You know her real well too, and know that she asked a lot of tough questions, and I think that's what's nice about the 3 of us here doing this video real quick, is we're there to help other people, to help them do that, because quite frankly, you helped me with attracting Deb.
No, that was probably Susan. It wasn't me. But I am glad Susan did it.
Yes. We're grateful for you both.
Well, thank you guys.
we should wrap it up, and we can't thank you enough, Gene, for your time today. I know you're doing this all the time, but we sure appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Gino.
Enjoy. Take
Wow,
care.
that's typical Gene. High energy. He's not lost a bit of it since the 5 years when he first joined the company and started his journey with eXp. He's just a great ambassador, great person to talk to, and no better person to really get focused on agent attraction than Gene. We appreciate you, Gene. We thank you for your friendship. We thank you for bringing us this great company, and we look forward to our next conversation with you.
And we thank you for joining us today for part 1 of our 3-part series on agent attraction. Take care.